So it's funny how it goes sometimes when you're uploading, your tracks to Audio Jungle or Pond 5 or wherever you're trying to make your sales. It's funny how like the songs that you're the most stoked on sometimes are the ones that just fall flat with sales, and the ones that you kind of like lost faith in, but you just upload them anyway, end up doing really well. So that's definitely the case with this one track that I'm about to show you. And it never ceases to amaze me that this like random hip hop track that I wrote about a year ago has actually just like done better than pretty much any other song I've ever put out there. And it's generated a significant amount of income across, multiple different libraries. It's really just, been the gift that keeps giving. So I'm going to dive into that track. I want to show it to you and talk about it a little bit more, but I'm going to make a couple really quick announcements here. So if you are like struggling with your mixes, you're having trouble getting accepted on Audio Jungle, or, you're just having trouble getting traction with sales in general, I have a couple of new premium tiers that I've added to my Patreon page that I think might interest you. So basically the way it works is that you give me the stems of whichever track you want to work with. It could be a track that you're having trouble with. It could be one that got rejected. And I'm going to take those stems and I'm going to do I'm going to produce and mix and master the track from beginning to end. I'm going to film myself doing it. I'm going to capture the entire process. I'm going to talk through it. I'm going to give you an insight into my decision making. I'm going to show you how I did things and why I did things in a very specific way. And what you're going to get out of it is basically, a behind the scenes view of how I work with mixing and production. And you also get a finished, polished, and mastered track out of it as well. And of course, it comes with access to all my past and future content on Patreon as well. So as always, the links for that are in the description below. Go check it out. I believe I priced it very reasonably. It's very affordable. And I think it's, you get a lot of value out of it, especially if you're trying to improve your mixes and your productions in general. So I'm also really excited to announce that I've been diligently working on a series of production courses, and I'm going to be announcing these very soon. They're coming out very soon. I've been working on them for the last few months. And I think they're going to be extremely useful for anybody who is looking to try to make passive income through licensing their music on Audio Jungle, Pond 5, or wherever. So if you're not on my mailing list, please go download my free sample pack, my free MIDI pack. Get on the list. Go to my website. The links are all below. And you will be hearing about these courses very soon. And I will be offering introductory pricing for those of you who want to sign up early. Okay, so let's talk about this track. Here's a little snippet of the song. So I feel like I've learned a few very valuable lessons from this track over, the last year or so, which is, I put it up on Audio Jungle first about a year ago or so. And it didn't trend on Audio Jungle. It just kind of picked up steam over time. And it's actually sold a few premium licenses too since I put it up there. And it's always just kind of amazed me because, to be totally honest, I really just didn't put much thought into it. I probably spent all of like 2 hours putting it together. And then that's not me trying to, brag about how quickly I can, produce music. It's just, I was, at the time I wrote it, I was really kind of trying to adopt this mindset of simplicity when I was producing my music, trying not to overthink things. And that's a mindset I still very much believe in today. I try to keep my, my tracks very simple, and I try to, not overthink things too much. Hip hop is a great genre to work with, because it doesn't require the same degree of like layering as orchestral music, for example. It's a very different production approach. I think that the elements are very simple. You obviously need like a really, strong beat and a great bass line and, a couple of samples to chop up. But strangely enough, even though you're working with like less layers, it's equally as challenging to produce a great hip hop track because you have these specific elements that all really need to work well together, and it's a challenge to find like the right samples for your track, and it takes some skill to be able to kind of like put this collage of samples together in a way that's going to like resonate with people. And if you're comparing hip hop and orchestral music, I mean they're just such completely different genres. You're going to have a very different mix approach as well. I feel like you can take some liberties with hip hop. The mix can be kind of grittier, and it's much more about just like honing in on a particular style. and really getting that like vibe locked in. But I think across all genres, it's just, so important to keep it simple and keep it effective. There's just no point in cluttering your mixes with stuff that just doesn't really add much value. So this track just kind of came together quickly, and I got to a point, pretty soon that like where I was kind of just like, well, I think it's done. And, I kept on sort of throwing things at it, but it wasn't really adding much. And, and it was sort of like that's sort of one of the lessons I took away from writing this track is that like, when it's done, it's done. It's just like, and you kind of feel that intuitively sometimes. You get to a point where you're throwing things at it and they're not really adding a lot. And if that's the case, I feel like whatever you're throwing at it probably doesn't need to be there. A couple of other things that I took away from this track are that, I think it's really important to detach yourself from the expectations that you have about, how well the song is going to do with regards to sales. I mean, I think it's so important to just not tether your ego to your sales online. I mean, sometimes tracks they sell, which is great, and sometimes they don't, and it's all a bit mysterious. But when they don't sell, who cares? Just move on. And I know it's easier said than done to kind of adopt that mentality. I mean, sometimes you put up a track online and it's like it's in the right place in the right time, and you just like hit a bullseye with sales. And other times you don't. Most of the times you don't, and it can be like a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And it's important to some degree to detach yourself, from the expectations that you have, and just be, just keep putting things out there. Basically when I upload a track online, it's like it's done. It's behind me, and I don't look back. I'm like, put it up. It is what it is, and then I'm already working on my next track, and then that's all I'm concentrating on. It's so important to take the time to improve your skills as a producer, and to put in that work. And I think it's really important not to compare yourself to others as well. Nothing wrong with like getting inspiration from others, but don't compare other. Don't get caught up worrying about other people's success, or feeling like you're never going to get ahead because you're always comparing yourself to other people. It's really important to get yourself out of that mindset. I think the goal is for me is just like, every time I sit down at my desk and I write a song, I'm just concentrating on making a better mix than I did the last time I sat down and wrote a song. And that's it. I'm just comparing myself to who I was like, yesterday, who I was a year ago. I listen to my mixes from the past all the time, and it's, it provides some reassurance that I'm actually going in the right direction and I'm making some progress. And yeah, come to think of it, that, another lesson to take away from this track was just, is the importance of consistency. Because, that was I wrote that track at a time where I was like writing a song pretty much every day, and just putting it out there, and just trying to be, very productive, and I was putting a lot of work out there, and I didn't think too hard about like whether the track was going to do well or not, and it just so happened that one did really well, and and made a lot of money for me, which is cool. And there's just no way to replicate that every time. So that's where the importance of consistency comes in, because over time you're gonna be able to do the same thing, and you're gonna have another track which also does well, but it requires that you are consistently putting out content, and that you're flexing those production muscles and just getting it out there and just doing it. I think it's important to carve out the time for yourself to get into the habit of like writing music on a regular basis. It's the only way that you're gonna get better at it. It's the only way that you're gonna see results with your sales as your production skills grow. It's a tough exercise, but I would really highly recommend just finishing tracks that you don't like as well. It's important to just like get the job done. I can't tell you how many times I've found myself halfway through writing a song and I'm just like, this is terrible. Like I just want to throw it out and start a new idea. Don't do that. Just finish the track. Just finish it. And it's good to get in the habit of just finishing things. So it's funny to think about, but like a lot of those feelings of insecurity and self-doubt that I experienced in my earlier days of producing music, I'm kind of really reliving them in a way right now through YouTube, because it's been an interesting journey to put myself out there on YouTube and to put myself in front of a camera, which didn't feel comfortable for me at first. I'm not really comfortable in front of a camera, and it's taken me a little bit of practice to sort of just like loosen up and just like be comfortable with speaking my mind and expressing my opinions to you guys. But I've been really lucky because all the comments that you guys have, and the emails that you've sent, they've all been so positive and reassuring, and you guys have given me you know, a lot of confidence to just keep going. And I know that some of these videos have helped people, and that's really touched me. And like, you know, and I've been really stoked to just be a part of this community. And it is a really great community of people. And I've made some great friends out there. I've made some great connections with other music producers. And that's just such a blessing. I really didn't expect that when I put my first YouTube video out there. And yeah, so, you know, I'm slowly working at trying to be a better YouTuber. And I think it's just like you have to allow yourself to kind of like, you kind of have to allow yourself to suck at things before you get great at them. And you can't prepare for the real thing unless you just like actually just do it. You just got to do it. And so you're watching me, you know, kind of develop this process of like becoming more comfortable with myself. I definitely get really in my head about preparation, and like, you know, in my mind I have this vision of like how things are supposed to look and sound, and I spend a lot of time like worrying about like whether it's perfect or not, and it's just so hard to like sometimes just like press record and just to go. And so I hope I've been able to kind of like, you know, inspire you a bit to just go for it. So that's it from me for today. Thanks so much for listening and watching. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you found this helpful or inspiring in any way, and please subscribe to the channel, because I got a lot of great content on the way. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. Throw your comments down below. Reach out over email. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. All right, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.